And that's when I thought to myself, I need to find a way to keep moving forward anyway. Like, what's up, everyone? So, if you're looking to achieve a goal, and I mean achieve a goal at a much faster rate, this is a video you're going to want to watch. This is going to help you through the process towards finding transformation. And the reason I even came up with the title of transformational coach is from the years I've gone on my journey and the years I've worked with so many people in theirs, and seeing that it wasn't the strategy that really got them to where they needed to go. It was something deeper than that. It's always deeper, a deeper desire. And sometimes we don't even know we have it in us. You know, I like saying practice having faith early and often, so it's there for you before you need it. And I've also heard the saying, we have our breakthroughs when we have our breakdowns. And some might get that a little bit better than others as they go through their journey. But eventually, I think everybody gets to that crossroad where they understand. And they understand there's different pieces to them because we're very layered. You know, we're fragmented, and there's so many layers behind an individual. But what I want to bring up is a story in my fighting career. One of the more powerful transformations I've had on my journey. And it started when I signed a contract. I was fighting a guy at 205, and I normally fight at a 185-pound weight class. It's a 20-pound difference, but I felt I could beat the guy that I was getting ready to fight. So I signed the contract. And I did what any high-level fighter does. I trained the way I needed to train. I ate the foods I needed to eat. And I stayed on top of things. I was sharp and I was ready to go. And I was excited. You know, whenever you get ready to go into your fight, you get excited. And then you get nervous once you start getting your hand wraps on and realize, like, oh my God, I'm getting ready to go into the cage. So as I was going through my process, training was going to plan. Everything was on par and in place. Getting ready to fight my guy. And they're in the back taping my hands up. I'm getting ready to do what I needed to do. I had already finished warming up. And the manager comes to the back. And he says to my coach, he goes, would Clifford be willing to fight another fighter on the main card? Because the guy who he was supposed to fight ended up getting sick and he had to cancel. So I'm sitting there thinking, I'm down to fight anyone, because that's the mentality that we have. You're just like ready to fight anyone at any time because we train our ass off. And so we're ready for anything. But I end up looking at the fighter, and he's a pretty dangerous dude. Like he can fight. And so I'm watching this, and not only that, he's a legit real 205er. And now for those who don't know much about the weight cutting and how that whole thing works, at 185 you're usually walking around at 210, 215 pounds, and you cut down to 185. So I was normally 205 pounds, and I'd cut down to 185. If you're a 205er, you probably walk around closer to 235, 240 pounds, and then they cut down to 205. So when I talk about a legit 205er, he probably had about 30, 35 pounds on me. But I figured, let's give it a try. But you're going to pay me more money. And the manager agreed. He goes, all right, I will triple your pay as long as you get out there and perform. I go, you never have to worry about me performing, because that's what I'm going to do. That's what I train for. So I get into the cage, and then he walks into the cage. And then I didn't realize how much smaller I was than him until we were like standing next to each other. I'm like, huh, pretty big dude. And I look over at my coach, and he's like, that guy's a monster. He goes, don't get hit. I'm like, thanks. I appreciate the vote of confidence. So we're in the fight. It's game time. The ref looks at him, you ready? He nods. Ref looks at me, you ready? I nod. And we go to war. And what happened was so interesting. First off, the guy was strong as hell. And yeah, they just hit differently than 185ers do. They hit a hell of a lot harder. But I didn't know what was going to happen, right? You never really know what's going to happen in a fight, but you do what you can. And I remember my body being done. I literally had nothing left, no energy. And that's when I thought to myself, I need to find a way to keep moving forward anyway. Like, we talk about mindset, and our brain will literally give up. Like, it just will give up. It throws in the towel. And you have to will your brain to do things that it doesn't want to do. And so I'm like talking with my brain at this time, like bartering with it, saying, I need to find something, some energy somewhere, because I'm not stopping unless he kills me. Now, since me and my brain argue sometimes, it realizes I'm dead serious about that. I'm going to do what I need to do. And somehow, some way, I conjured up energy I didn't even know I had, because I didn't think I had any left. And not only did I walk away with a victory, I walked away with a submission, submitted the guy. And it's in those moments where it shows up not only for us, but it shows up for others. It's in those moments when you realize there's another reserve somewhere, even if you don't know that it's there. And so as I go through my process and my journey, and reminding people that the greatness is in them, and it will always be in them, and knowing that you have to get tested for it to come out. Because that wasn't my first test, and it certainly won't be my last test. But what I will say, what that did for me was turn me into a more transformed human being. Because each test you go through, you become brighter than you were before. You become larger than you were before. And I love to look at life and say, the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, the child turning into the adult. Whatever metamorphosis you have to go through. And sometimes the metamorphosis is painful and it's hard. But when you go through it, you come out changed and different. And that's what happened to me. Like, I actually look back to that story and I hold on to that story when I'm getting ready to go through another transformation. See, that's the other cool thing about the transformations, is when those tough times come, you can hold on to past transformations you've had to move you past the new transformations that you have to have. You're going to be challenged on your journey. but you can be stronger than any challenge that is in your way and in front of you. Keep showing up. Keep giving your best. Keep being your best. And repeat that every single day. Because you're literally one transformation away from being your greatest self. You all have a great day.